The sky over Reinar Colony burned with smoke and fire. Tall buildings once filled with life now stood broken and silent. Emergency lights flashed through the dust, and warning sirens echoed across the streets. The war between humans and the Xylar had reached this distant world, and now the only goal left was escape. Sergeant Alex Thorne moved quickly through the ruined street, his boots crunching over broken stone. He was tired, covered in dust, and his armor showed clear marks from earlier fighting. Still, his eyes stayed sharp. He had been a soldier for many years, and he knew that danger never announced itself politely. Around him, human civilians ran toward the evacuation zone. Soldiers shouted directions, guiding families toward the waiting shuttles. Children cried, parents held them close, and everyone carried fear in their eyes. Alex had seen this scene many times on many planets, but it never became easy. The mission was simple and strict: save human lives, leave everything else behind. The Xylar were not like humans. They were taller, stronger, and far more advanced in many ways. Once they had been distant neighbors in the galaxy. Now they were enemies. Their ships had attacked without warning, and human colonies paid the price. Alex checked his wrist display. Time was running out. The last shuttles would leave soon. "Sergeant, we need to move," Corporal Hayes said through the comm. "Copy," Alex replied. "One more sweep." He turned down a narrow side street, scanning the shadows. Broken transport vehicles lay scattered like toys. The air smelled of smoke and hot metal. Then he heard it, a small sound. It was soft, weak, almost lost beneath the noise of distant explosions. Alex stopped. "Did you hear that?" he asked. "Hear what?" Hayes replied. Alex raised his hand, signaling silence. He followed the sound toward a collapsed wall. His weapon was ready, but his heart was uncertain. Slowly, he stepped closer. Behind the rubble sat a small figure. It was not human. The creature was no larger than a human child. Its skin shimmered blue and silver, reflecting the light around it. Large, dark eyes stared back at him, wide with fear. It trembled, clutching itself as if trying to disappear. Alex knew immediately what it was: a Xylar youngling. His breath caught in his chest. Training told him to step back. Orders told him to leave it. The war had no place for mercy like this. But the youngling made no move to attack. It only watched him, shaking, clearly alone. Alex lowered his weapon. "Easy," he said quietly, though he knew it could not understand his words. The youngling made a soft sound, almost like a question. Alex felt something twist inside him. He had lost people in this war. Friends, comrades. Still, this was just a child, caught in a conflict it did not choose. "Sergeant, we are pulling back now," Hayes said urgently. Alex looked once more at the creature. He thought of the evacuation ships. He thought of the rules. He thought of what kind of person he wanted to be when the war was finally over. "I'm bringing it with me," Alex said. There was silence on the comm. "Say again," Hayes asked. "I found a Xylar child. I won't leave it," Alex said calmly. Hayes swore under his breath, but then replied, "Understood. We'll cover you." Alex knelt slowly. The youngling backed away but did not run. Alex removed a ration pack and placed it on the ground. The child stared at it, then at him. Carefully, Alex reached out. After a long moment, the youngling stepped closer. When Alex lifted it, the creature felt light and warm. It clung to his armor, making a quiet sound that felt like relief. Alex secured it against his chest and stood. "Let's move," he said. The journey back was dangerous. Xylar patrol units swept the streets, and debris fell from damaged buildings. Alex moved fast but careful, always keeping his body between danger and the child. At one point, energy fire struck the ground nearby, sending debris flying. The youngling cried out. Alex shielded it and kept moving. "Almost there," he said softly. The evacuation zone came into view. Shuttles hovered above the ground, loading the last civilians. Soldiers formed a defensive line, holding back advancing Xylar forces. A shuttle pilot spotted Alex and shook her head. "Sergeant, no aliens allowed." Alex met her eyes. "This one lives," he said firmly. For a moment she hesitated. Then she opened the hatch. "Make it quick," she said. Alex placed the youngling inside and strapped it safely into a seat. It looked around, confused but calm. Then it looked at Alex and made a soft, trusting sound. Alex turned back just as explosions rocked the platform. He ran and jumped into the shuttle as it lifted off. Through the viewport, the colony shrank beneath them, burning and broken. Alex sat beside the youngling as the shuttle joined the fleet. He removed his helmet and finally allowed himself to breathe. The youngling leaned against him, its fear slowly fading. Alex did not know what consequences awaited him. He only knew one thing. In a galaxy filled with war, he had chosen to protect life. And somewhere far beyond the stars, a Xylar mother would soon realize that her child still lived. The choice had been made. And nothing would ever be the same again. Weeks had passed since the Rhinar colony evacuation, but Sergeant Alex Thorne's mind had never truly left that chaotic day. The human fleet had made it to a safe sector, and the wounded were treated, yet the hatchling he had risked everything to protect remained a source of constant worry. Alex kept a careful watch over it, knowing that its survival could mean more than anyone had yet realized. The hatchling, whom Alex had started calling Lyra, had grown noticeably. Its small limbs were stronger now, and its iridescent skin shimmered even brighter. Yet it still looked fragile, its large eyes filled with curiosity and intelligence far beyond its size. Alex watched as it explored the shuttle's compartments, touching surfaces and emitting soft, chirping sounds that seemed to convey its feelings. Despite being an alien species, Lyra had begun to understand him, responding to his gestures and tones in subtle ways. One day, as Alex was performing a routine check of the fleet's communication network, an alarm blared through the corridors. A deep, resonating signal filled the command deck, and the monitors flashed with urgent warnings. A massive Xylar ship had entered the sector, larger than any human vessel they had ever encountered. Its hull shimmered with a strange energy field, and the fleet's sensors confirmed it was moving with purpose, scanning and analyzing human ships. The briefing room filled quickly as commanders assessed the threat. Alex's stomach tightened when he recognized the signature of the ship's energy field. It was unlike any Xylar ship he had seen before. Its size and technology indicated it was more than just a warship. It was a flagship, a command vessel. The enemy was aware, and it had come for one reason. Alex stood in the back, his mind racing. He knew immediately who it was: Lyra's mother, the Xylar Queen. The thought of her reaching out across the void to reclaim her child sent a chill down his spine. This was not a simple rescue mission. It was a calculated pursuit. Every attack the fleet had experienced before was nothing compared to what might come next. The fleet scrambled into action, preparing defensive formations and evacuating non-essential personnel. Alex stayed close to Lyra, holding it in his arms as the ship shook from nearby attacks. Despite the tension, the hatchling seemed calm in his presence, its small body pressed against his chest. The Xylar flagship attacked with precision, firing energy beams that cut through human vessels. The fleet responded, but the Queen's tactics were superior. She anticipated their movements, exploiting weaknesses in the formation. Alex knew that direct confrontation would be disastrous. Humanity's technology was strong, but it could not match the advanced alien intelligence of the Queen. Alex convened a small team, including engineers, alien scholars who had studied Xylar biology, and trusted soldiers. They gathered in a secure chamber, poring over maps, schematics, and fleet data. Alex outlined his plan, which was unorthodox and dangerous. They needed to establish communication with the Queen before she destroyed everything around them. Force alone would not save Lyra or the fleet. "We need to appeal to her intelligence," Alex said, pointing to the fleet's sensors showing the flagship's movements. "This isn't just about weapons. She's aware and she's calculating every step, We have to think like her. One of the alien scholars nodded. It is unusual for your species to attempt negotiation under such conditions, but the hatchling, it is part of her species. She will respond to its safety. Alex's team worked tirelessly to adapt communication devices to the Queen's energy signals, hoping to send a message that could be understood without misinterpretation. Every moment was tense. The flagship's presence loomed closer, its energy pulses detectable even within the human fleet. Lyra chirped softly, touching the instruments with curiosity, as if sensing the importance of what was happening. The fleet prepared a diversion, sending smaller ships in unpredictable patterns to confuse the Queen's sensors. Alex stayed with Lyra, explaining each step in simple tones, even though he knew the hatchling didn't fully understand. The act of speaking, of being calm, helped him remain focused despite the fear that churned in his stomach. Finally, a secure channel was established. Alex activated it and spoke, his voice steady but firm. "This is Sergeant Alex Thorne. I have your child. I will protect it. I do not seek conflict if you wish to avoid it. Please understand our intentions." The response was instantaneous, though not in words. The flagship's energy field pulsed in rhythmic patterns, and the monitors displayed symbols that Alex and the scholars had only begun to decode. The Queen's message was clear. She demanded the return of her child, but there was no immediate attack yet. It was a test, a challenge, a warning. Alex realized that direct confrontation could not work. The Queen was more than a military leader. She was a mother, intelligent and strategic. To save Lyra, they needed to combine cunning, diplomacy, and courage. Alex felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him, but he refused to falter. As night approached, the Queen made her move. Smaller Xylar ships broke from the flagship, targeting supply convoys and weak points in the human formation. Explosions rocked the fleet, and alarms blared through every ship. Alex held Lyra tightly, guiding it to cover as they moved through the corridors of their vessel. He could feel the hatchling trembling, sensing danger even without fully understanding it. Alex's squad responded with skill and precision, defending the key areas of the ship while avoiding unnecessary conflict. The battle was chaotic, yet Alex remained focused on the ultimate goal, protecting Lyra at all costs. Each encounter with Xylar fighters was intense, with close calls and narrow escapes. But through it all, Alex's determination and quick thinking kept them alive. After hours of skirmishes, the fleet managed to establish a temporary safe zone near an asteroid field. The Queen's forces were held at bay, but the threat was far from over. Alex knew that they could not remain there indefinitely. The Queen was calculating, waiting for the perfect opportunity to reclaim her child. In the quiet moments between attacks, Alex studied Lyra. The hatchling had grown curious about its surroundings, touching the human equipment, interacting with the scientists, and showing signs of rapid learning. Alex felt a mix of awe and concern. Lyra was extraordinary, and that made it a target. Alex convened a meeting with his team to plan the next steps. They needed a strategy that combined defense, communication, and preparation for potential negotiation. Every detail mattered, from fleet formations to the psychological understanding of the Queen. Alex emphasized patience and observation. They could not afford rash actions. The following days were tense. The Queen maintained a presence nearby, her flagship visible on sensors at all times. Alex and his team continued to study the hatchling, learning more about its abilities and intelligence. Lyra seemed to respond to Alex's emotions, and the bond between them grew stronger. It was not just protection, it was mutual trust. One night, as Alex monitored the fleet from the observation deck, he noticed subtle changes in the Queen's energy patterns. She was testing them, probing for weaknesses, learning about their technology and strategies. Alex realized that negotiation would require more than words. It would require understanding, adaptation, and courage. Alex spoke softly to Lyra, who chirped in response, almost as if acknowledging the gravity of the situation. "We'll get through this, little one. I promise." The hatchling curled against him, and for a moment the chaos of war seemed distant. But Alex knew it was only a brief respite. The Queen's pursuit was relentless, her intelligence unmatched, and the stakes higher than anyone could imagine. Every decision he made now would shape not only the survival of the fleet, but the future of interspecies understanding. As the days turned into weeks, Alex prepared for the inevitable confrontation. He trained his squad, refined his strategies, and strengthened the bond with Lyra. The Queen's presence was a constant reminder of the challenges ahead, but Alex remained determined. He would protect the hatchling, navigate the perilous path of diplomacy and defense, and prove that humanity's strength lay not just in weapons, but in courage, compassion, and the willingness to stand for what was right. The pursuit was far from over, but Alex had learned a vital lesson. Intelligence and empathy could rival even the most advanced technology. And as he looked at Lyra, he knew that the true test of humanity was not in battle alone, but in the choices made when lives hung in the balance. The Queen would come, but Alex was ready. He would face her with honor, strategy, and an unwavering determination to protect the life he had vowed to save. The silence before the meeting felt heavier than battle. Sergeant Alex Thorne stood inside the command chamber of the human outpost, his hands calm but his mind racing. Outside the reinforced walls, space stretched endless and dark. On every sensor screen, one image remained constant, the massive Xylar flagship. It had followed the human fleet for days without attacking. It waited. Alex knew why. The Xylar mother had come for her child. Lyra sat beside him on the floor, her shimmering blue skin glowing softly under the white lights. She had grown again. Her eyes were sharper now, filled with awareness. She no longer made only small sounds. Sometimes she formed patterns with her hands, symbols that the scientists believed were early language signs. Alex knelt and rested a hand on the floor near her. Lyra looked at him and made a gentle tone, calm and trusting. "It's time," Alex said quietly. The human command had debated for days. Some wanted to attack, others wanted to hide. But the truth was simple. They could not run forever and they could not win by force. So they chose something rare in war. They chose to speak. A communication chamber was prepared, using both human technology and captured Xylar translation systems. Engineers worked carefully, adjusting energy fields and signal harmonics. One mistake could turn the attempt into a threat. Alex volunteered to lead the contact. He was not the highest-ranking officer. He was not a diplomat, but he was the one who had saved the child, and the Queen knew it. Lyra was guided to a safe platform beside him. Transparent shields surrounded them not as a prison but as protection. Alex stood tall, wearing no weapon. It was a risk, but a necessary one. The signal activated. At first there was only light. Then the air shifted. A towering figure appeared in the center of the chamber, formed of shimmering energy and solid shape at once. The Xylar Queen was vast, elegant, and powerful. Her presence pressed against every mind in the room like a deep ocean. Her eyes, many and glowing, focused instantly on Lyra. The room fell silent. Lyra stepped forward. She raised her small hands and made a series of glowing patterns in the air. The Queen responded instantly, her form pulsing with emotion. The translation system struggled, then stabilized. A voice filled the chamber, not sound but meaning. "My child lives." Alex swallowed and stepped forward. "Yes," he said clearly, "she is safe." The Queen's attention shifted to him. The pressure increased. Some officers stepped back, struggling to breathe. "You are the protector," the Queen said. "The one who broke the rules of war." Alex nodded. "I did." Images filled the chamber, memories pulled from Lyra's mind. The ruined colony, Alex lifting her, shielding her. Carrying her through fire and falling stone, the queen watched everything. Why? She asked. Alex took a breath. Because she was a child, because war should not erase compassion. The queen was silent for a long moment. Your kind is known for destruction, she said. Yet you chose protection. Alex did not argue. We are many things, he replied, but we can choose who we are. The queen's form shifted. Around her appeared visions of the galaxy, burning worlds, broken fleets, endless conflict. My species is fading, she said. My children are few. Lyra is more than my daughter. She carries the future of my people. Murmurs filled the chamber. Alex felt the weight of her words. I did not know, he said honestly. You did not need to, the queen replied. Your actions were pure without reward. She turned her gaze fully upon him. Return her to me, she said, and I will spare your fleets. Refuse, and the war will continue until one of us ends. Alex looked down at Lyra. Lyra looked back. She stepped closer to him and placed a small hand against his chest. The room reacted instantly. Energy readings spiked. Lyra's markings glowed brighter than ever before. Symbols formed in the air, clear and deliberate. The translators caught up. I choose, Lyra said. Everyone froze. I choose both, she continued. Mother and protector. The queen trembled. Explain, she demanded. Lyra projected images, herself among humans, learning, observing, growing. Then images of returning, carrying knowledge, carrying understanding. Bridge, Lyra said simply. Alex felt his breath catch. The queen studied her child. For the first time her presence softened. You would walk between worlds, she said. Lyra nodded, silence stretched. Then the queen turned to Alex. Would you allow this? She asked. Alex met her gaze without fear. If it is her choice, I will protect it. The queen considered. Then slowly the energy pressure lifted. Then hear my decree, the queen announced. The war between Xylar and humanity ends today. Gasps echoed through the chamber. My fleets will withdraw, she continued. In exchange, Lyra will serve as an observer, a learner, and a symbol. Harm to her will be treated as harm to my species. Alex nodded. Agreed. The queen stepped closer to Lyra. They touched foreheads, sharing a final surge of light. Grow strong, the queen said. And return when ready. The projection faded. The chamber exhaled as one. Days later, the galaxy felt different. Xylar ships retreated. Human fleets stood down. Messages spread across systems, first in disbelief, then in hope. Alex stood on the observation deck, watching stars drift by. Lyra stood beside him. You changed everything, he said. Lyra made a soft sound and leaned against him. Alex knew the path ahead would not be easy. There would be fear. There would be resistance. But there would also be understanding. Humanity had been judged, not by its weapons, but by the choice of one soldier. And in the vast silence of space, that choice echoed louder than war. The end was not destruction. It was beginning. Human soldier protected enemy young during evacuation. Now the alien mother wants him.